Chapter 766. Student Luo Ji. So it was just a rumor. Everyone's making a fuss over nothing. Yi Shu and the others in the room got up quickly and came back just as quickly. They did a quick search and discovered that it was only speculation. Moreover, the reasoning wasn't even very convincing. The person who shouted it out in a hurry was a brainless gossiper. Chen Guo said as she hatefully glanced around the internet cafe. She wanted to see who that idiot was. Starting a rumor in this type of place should be considered a capital offense. The others followed after her and sat back down. In reality, despite everyone jumping up together all at once to see the news, not everyone cared too much about the transfers. For example, Su Mucheng and Tang Ru both wore indifferent expressions on their faces. Steamed Bun was just blindly following the crowd. But in Mo Fan's eyes, the attention given to this piece of news by these guys as well as the entire internet cafe made him quite curious about the pro scene. Although Zhao Yang's transfer was only a rumor, it wasn't anything strange to hear about him. Zhao Yang was an all-star player, but was always the most lacking compared to all the other all-stars. He and his Chi Master character Immeasurable C were a part of Team Seaside. Team Seaside was a classic example of a middle-tier team, which wasn't good enough to reach the top, but still better than those on the bottom. Neither the playoffs nor relegations seemed to be any concern to the team. No team with an all-star player and character had as little of a future as Team Seaside did. Even the relegated Team Excellent Era had once been a brilliant team. Despite being relegated, the team was still able to attract an all-star like Xiao Shikan to join their ranks. Their case was extremely unusual. As for Team Seaside, although the team possessed an all-star player and character, they weren't competitive enough to make it to the playoffs. It was truly a bit embarrassing. Of course, Team Seaside had their reasons. There were 4 teams with only one all-star player: Team Royal Style, Team Seaside, Team 301, and Team Thunderclap. The other 3 had the competitive strength to make it into the playoffs. Team 301 and Team Thunderclap had even won a spot last season. Team 301 had their all-star captain Yang Kong and his character Scene Killer, but apart from that, the team also had Xu Bin, a very skilled player. Xu Bin was never considered any worse than the all-star knight Deng Fusheng. Some even thought that he was better than Deng Fusheng. Team Thunderclap used to have the all-star player, Xiao Shikan. A master tactician could help a team shine. As a result, Team Thunderclap was much more threatening than Team Seaside. As for Team Royal Style, although they failed to make it into the playoffs last season, they had a powerful background. In Season 1, the team had competed against Team Excellent Era in the finals. The team's core exorcist, Peaceful Hermit, had been famous since the start of the alliance. It was a top-tier god character ranked alongside One Autumn Leaf and Desert Dust. If one were to say that Peaceful Hermit was stronger than Team Seaside's Immeasurable C, no one would have any objections. Looking from this perspective, Team Seaside seemed to be somewhat inadequate. Their barely passable win record was very reasonable. However, the team's all-star player might not think so. With so many big-name transfers this summer, who knew if he might transfer? That was the logic behind the rumor of Zhao Yang's transfer. Sure, it was possible, but coming to that conclusion with just that sort of weak reason was a bit far-fetched. After Yi Shu and the others talked about Zhao Yang's situation, they didn't take the rumor to heart. As expected, on the second day, Team Seaside and Zhao Yang made a public announcement expressing that the two sides were content with their current situation and had no plans on separating. Of course, a public statement wasn't necessarily proof. It might just be a marketing method. The rumor from yesterday was truly unreliable. It was practically the same as someone taking a piece of fantasy work as non-fiction. The day passed by and the new week began. During their resting time in the daytime, another guest arrived at the internet cafe. Luo Ji, Concealed Light's owner, had finished helping his professor with his task and had now come to report to Happy Internet Cafe. The employee working at the time knew that the boss was currently sleeping, but he still called for her. If something happened in the internet cafe, there were always ways to call for the boss. When they woke up from the call, they headed downstairs to take a look. Luo Ji was standing beside the front desk with a big backpack on his shoulders. He wasn't tall, but he was dressed neatly. He was looking around curiously in a pure and innocent manner. Concealed Light, Yi Shu greeted. He called him by his in-game name first because he was more used to it. Concealed Light wasn't like Deception, who wouldn't tell him his real name. He never really called him by his real name in the game either. Oh, student Luoji looked over and saw Yi Shu. He immediately smiled. You're here. Yi Shu went over to pat him. Luoji nodded his head. It was naturally time to introduce him to the others. Luoji said hi 3 times in a row, but didn't say anything else. He had only started playing Glory when the 10th server had opened. Although he might admire pro players, he wouldn't have that same zealotry as Chen Guo. Su Mucheng didn't shock him too much. Let's go up, then. They went to the second floor's practice room. This is the practice room for now. It's a bit simple, Chen Guo introduced as the boss. Your living area is in a nearby area. It's quite spacious. There are currently 4 people living there. Steamed Bun is over there too. Steamed Bun, after hearing that name, Luoji looked as if he had come across an evil enemy. He felt a headache coming. Please don't make me room him with him. Oh, that's up to you guys. I haven't made any fixed arrangements. Although Chen Guo said this, when she thought about how Steamed Bun might think, it was very possible that Steamed Bun might directly take Luoji's backpack and find a place for it himself. Would Luoji even have a chance to choose? Chen Guo wanted to know too. Would you like to take a rest first? Have you eaten lunch? Chen Guo asked. Not yet. Perfect. Everyone ate a simple meal together. During their lunch together, Yi Shu asked a question, which made Luoji want to cry. Have you still not passed the Heavenly Domain Challenge? Yeah. Luoji replied in embarrassment. He was like many others in the guild, still trying to finish the quests. Actually, for new players, it wasn't unusual for them to be unable to pass the quests at this time. Even in December, when the 11th server opened, it still wouldn't be strange for many in the 10th server to be stuck on the quests, but the people that Luoji made friends with were on a higher level. Yi Shu had completed the Heavenly Domain quests at level 50. The other people that he was familiar with like Tang Ru and Steamed Bun led the pack. Compared to them, he could only feel ashamed. Don't worry. Take your time. Have you kept on practicing the things that I arranged for you? Yi Shu asked. I've been practicing, Luoji nodded his head, but I usually don't have much free time. It's currently the holidays. It's the perfect time to intensify your practicing, Yi Shu said. Okay. Luoji didn't object. He was also anxious about being so far behind everyone else. In the academic field, he was a top student. No matter how modest he was, it wasn't unusual for him to be a bit arrogant. He didn't have an easy time in the game though. In the beginning, his guides were criticized as being trash. It hurt him very much. Later, after Yi Shu gave him a few tips, he put in some more effort and finally proved the value of his guides. However, in real-time in-game combat, compared to the people next to him, Luoji lagged behind considerably. However, compared the rest of the guild's progress with the Heavenly Domain quests, Luoji's concealed light was actually at the front. After all, although the others in the guild might have started playing the game at the same time as Luoji, they didn't have professional coaching and guidance from someone like Yi Shu. With the training methods provided to him, if Luoji wasn't any better than other normal players, the practical and theoretical effectiveness would need to be discussed. Reality proved that these training methods helped Luoji improve significantly. It was just that compared to the talented Tang Ru and Steamed Bun, his achievements felt feeble. When they returned to the practice room after eating lunch, Yi Shu stood behind Luoji to watch him do the quests. Being watched like this made Luoji extremely nervous. He had never been so flustered, even when world-class mathematicians watched him solve problems. It was simply because he was more confident in his ability to do math, but in the gaming world, Luoji knew that he wasn't particularly bad, but he definitely wasn't outstanding. In any case, he didn't stand out in the game like he did in his studies. Right now, he needed to rise above the millions playing the game and enter the pro scene, where the top 200 or so players competed. Luoji felt like he needed to be even more excellent in the game than he was in his studies. He didn't dare to be negligent. Yi Shu saw his nervousness, so he didn't say anything in the beginning. He just waited for Luoji to slowly get used to it. Once he calmed down and steadied himself, he began carefully observing his progress and his strengths and weaknesses. Soon, Yi Shu noticed a very obvious bad habit of Luoji's. He was too much of a perfectionist. He would have all of the summons he would use appear on his summon list. Then, he would try and have every one of those summons perform to their maximum capability. He would set his heart towards accomplishing this goal. This was in contrast to Team Blue Rain's Lu Hanwen. Lu Hanwen wanted to perfect his 8 shadowed shadow steps. In practice, there wasn't any issues, but in real combat, his 8 shadows were equivalent to just 4 shadows. As a result, for real combat, Lu Hanwen settled for the next best thing and adapted by using 6 perfect shadows instead. As for Luo-ji, he was currently attempting the challenge quests. It was real combat, which he couldn't be sloppy with, but because he kept trying to pursue perfection, he kept failing. Luo-ji, you're being too stubborn, Yi Shu finally spoke. Chapter 767. Gathering 1. Yi Shu told Luo-ji his current problem and was brief and to the point about it. As a talented student of a famous university, his comprehension ability didn't need to be questioned. Luo-ji nodded his head. He followed Yi Shu's suggestion, but his performance still wasn't satisfactory. Luo-ji felt ashamed. He turned his head towards Yi Shu. I always think I can do it in my mind, but when I try it in practice, it's always harder than I imagine it to be. It's get better the more you practice. Yi Shu urged for him to persevere. He knew that this might not be so easy for Luo-ji because it wasn't an issue of unfamiliarity with the controls, but rather Luo-ji's personality. He recalled Luo-ji's guides and how tediously detailed they were. Those guides could only be completed by relying on that type of personality. Luo-ji wanted to make sure that each step that he took was perfect and without any flaws. Yi Shu didn't know if this habit was because he was a mathematician, but in any case, trying to control a character in the game with this mentality would be very difficult, especially when his mechanical skill wasn't nearly good enough for that level of flawless control. Luo-ji continued to struggle under Yi Shu's guidance. After a while, Yi Shu couldn't see any signs of improvement. Trying to overcome an innate habit wasn't easy. Yi Shu couldn't come up with any suggestions. In order to change this situation, Luo-ji would either need to restrain his habit or improve his mechanical skill immensely so that he could pursue the perfection that he desired. Whatever the case was, it couldn't be accomplished in just a day or two. Changing his habit would at least allow him to display a certain level of skill. It was due to this consideration that Yi Shu chose to try and change his habit. Luo-ji was determined. After listening to Yi Shu's instructions, he began trying his best to adapt. He forgot about the tiredness from his day of traveling. Yi Shu and everyone else in Happy had gotten up early today, so the others hadn't arrived yet. There wasn't anything to do in the game for now. Yi Shu continued to watch over concealed light. From time to time, he would give a few instruction and tips. Around 3 in the afternoon, the door to the practice room was pushed open. Wei Chen strutted into the room with a cigarette hanging in his mouth. He looked like a big boss taking the lead. Steamed Bun and Chow Yifan followed behind him. Mo Fan arrived a bit later and quietly walked in alone. When Luo-ji heard them come in, he immediately put down the game and stood up. The people, who just arrived, noticed him. This is Luo-ji. Concealed light, Yi Shu introduced Luo-ji to them. Just when he was about to introduce Wei Chen and the others, Steamed Bun walked over with a wide grin. Ha ha ha, it's you. To think you actually had the chance to come. It seems like I didn't misjudge you. It's all due to my hard work. Luo-ji didn't need an introduction to know that this person was Steamed Bun. Wei Chen was a bit too old. Mo Fan's cold and indifferent expression didn't feel right. Chow Yifan's well-behaved and honest appearance didn't seem to fit with his image of Steamed Bun. Sure enough, after solving by elimination, the funny-looking fellow was that derailed Steamed Bun. Luo-ji was caught unprepared though as Steamed Bun rushed over to give him an enthusiastic greeting. Ha, this is Steamed Bun. You two should be quite familiar with each other, Yi Shu laughed. Of course. I watched Concealed Light grow up. Steamed Bun was already standing next to Luo-ji, shaking his shoulders wildly. Luo-ji wasn't tall. He was about half a head shorter than Steamed Bun. He wasn't exactly thin and feeble though. However, after being shaken around by Steamed Bun, he suddenly gave off a feeling of being weak. Luo-ji wanted to say something, but Steamed Bun never gave him an opportunity to speak. Yi Shu gave Luo-ji an introduction to the others. This is Wei Chen. That's Chow Yifan. Luo-ji had either spoken to them in the chat group or in the 10th server, so he wasn't completely unfamiliar with them. Only Mo Fan was a stranger. Yishu knew that Luo Ji wouldn't know of him, so he added, "This is Mo Fan. He just joined." "I haven't yet," Mo Fan coldly threw out this phrase. Not yet. He's just here to check out our team," Yishu said. "Check out? An expert?" Luo Ji's gaze turned respectful. "Ha ha ha, expert my ass. Let me tell you. Last time I hit him with a brick and he had no idea where it came from. He was killed over and over for an entire month. Who knew how much sand and how many bricks he ate?" Steamed Bun chattered on and on. Although Luo Ji knew that Steamed Bun's mind was off the rails, he wouldn't randomly start rumors with no basis. He just didn't have the same comprehension ability as a normal person. What was he talking about? Luo Ji didn't really understand. He just saw, as that cold and expressionless guy hear Steamed Bun's non-stop chatter, his eyebrows jumped up. Okay, Steamed Bun, you go sit with concealed light," Yishu interrupted Steamed Bun's chattering. No need. I'll just sit by myself." Luo Ji frantically threw off Steamed Bun's right hand, which had been resting on his shoulder the entire time. He returned to his seat like a wisp of smoke. When he looked around, no one else was sitting next to him, but the next second, Steamed Bun's butt came down into the seat next to him. His tone of voice sounded like he was doing him a favor. "Fine. Today I'll reluctantly give you some personal guidance." Luo Ji was depressed. But he felt like switching seats was too disrespectful. He didn't like making a fuss with others. Helpless, he could only focus on the game and continue following Yishu's instructions. No, why are you such a loser? Tell your dog to block that," Steamed Bun shouted. Dog. Luo Ji was speechless. That was a summoner's fire spirit. When the fire spirit attacked, it would look kind of like a dog. As a result, Steamed Bun referred the spirit as a dog. Over there. Over here. Steamed Bun pointed left and right on Luo Ji's screen. Not only was he constantly blocking Luo Ji's line of sight, his screen now had countless fingerprints plastered all over it. Can you be quiet? Luo Ji flared up. He didn't want to lose his temper, after just arriving at a new environment and meeting so many new friends, but he couldn't bear it anymore. He admitted that Steamed Bun's chattering was sometimes right, but his pointing wasn't helping. It was just making things worse. To think you would speak to your senior with such a tone. Do you not want to live? Steamed Bun clenched his fists. Normally, Luo Ji wouldn't be afraid of shouting in the game, but looking at Steamed Bun's posture, was this going to turn into a real-life PK? Steamed Bun, stop bothering him. Go back to your seat. Luo Ji was finally rescued by Yishu. He let out a sigh of relief once Steamed Bun was yelled back into his seat. After Yishu shouted at Steamed Bun, he went to take a look at Luo Ji's practicing. Seeing that he was still working hard, he gave a few words of encouragement and went back to his seat too. Pretty much everyone's arrived. How about we tidy up that place, so we can eat, sleep, and practice in the same place? Chen Guo saw Yishu sit back down and turned her head over to talk to him. It felt a bit wasteful to just stop using the practice room in the internet cafe, after it had just been renovated, but the guys at Excellent Era and Xiao Shikan strolling right in left a thorn in Chen Guo's mind. After all, the internet cafe needed to open up its doors for the business to run. It wasn't convenient to keep things private here. To create a pro team, their tactics and training routines would need to be protected against leaks. Then what about here, Yi Shua? Here, do clubs have 2 practice rooms? Chen Guo asked. Yi Shu smiled. If it's for the pro players, just one. The others would be for the training camp. I don't think we'll be needing that anytime soon though. So it really is like that. Chen Guo thought to herself. They weren't an official pro team until the team made it through the Challenger League. Even if Team Happy became a pro team one day and formed a club, many facilities couldn't be completed within a short amount of time. A training camp was still far away. I was just thinking that when official matches start, wouldn't people suddenly intruding be a serious issue? Chen Guo said. She understood how the Challenger League worked. In the beginning, when numerous teams were competing, the matches were conducted online. It would only be until the later stages of the Challenger League that the Alliance would host a place for teams to gather and play their matches there. As a result, for a long period of time, they would need to be in charge of creating a suitable competition environment. In addition, the Challenger League matches were played at a fixed time, which everyone had to follow. If some sort of enemy did something lowly like bother them outside of the game during their match time, it would be troublesome. A place like the internet cafe, where people often came in and out, clearly wouldn't be a good location. You're worrying too much. Nothing like that has ever happened before for the past many years. In online competitions, competitors don't know each other's details. Once the alliance begins hosting the matches offline, that is even less likely to happen. Yi Shu smiled. Aren't we different? There's that side. Chen Guo pointed outside the window, naturally towards Excellent Era. That's even less likely. Think about it. Yi Shu started to sweat. No matter how it was said, Excellent Era was once a glorious club that had dominated the scene. Who would have thought that Chen Guo would think of them in such an unsportsmanlike light? I just can't feel at peace, Chen Guo mumbled to herself. Once everyone gathers, we'll see what everyone thinks, Yi Shu said. When is that last guy going to come? Chen Guo asked. Right now, they were only missing An Wenyi. Once he arrived, the entire team would be at Happy Internet Cafe. Soon, I think. Right when Yi Shu gave this reply, he received a message from QQ. He checked it and saw that it was from An Wenyi. He would be arriving at City H at 7:35 p.m. Chapter 768. Gathering 2. It was only after Yi Shu and Chen Guo saw An Wenyi's message did they realize that out of everyone here, the only person who told them in advance around what time he would be arriving was An Wenyi. Even though it wasn't a big deal, it seemed like An Wenyi handled matters more thoughtfully than the others did. Then it looks like everyone will be here soon. Chen Guo was a little excited. All of Team Happy's members would finally be together in one place. Chen Guo felt like the door to a new world was finally opening up. The wheels of history were beginning to turn. And Wenyi was currently on his way here, so he obviously wasn't online. There were no bosses left to fight for the rest of this week anyways. Even if there were, An Wenyi's presence would not have affected the overall situation. Time passed in the blink of an eye and it was now 7 p.m. The group at Happy hadn't eaten dinner yet. They were waiting for An Wenyi to arrive. However, An Wenyi said that he would be arriving at City H at 7:35 p.m. In addition to that, it would take him some time to reach Happy Internet Cafe. Chen Guo and the others from City H knew how much time it would take, so there was no rush. At around 8 p.m., everyone stopped playing. If everything went smoothly for An Wenyi, he should be arriving any shortly. An Wenyi once again proved that he was a reliable person. He showed up at Happy Internet Cafe precisely when Chen Guo thought he would. Wearing a pair of eyeglasses, the refined and elegant-looking An Wenyi greeted everyone in the same manner. He didn't give any special gestures to his boss or Yi Shu. He also didn't seem to have any particular reaction to Steamed Bun's hyperactiveness or Mo Fan's cold expression. We've been waiting for you. Let's go get dinner, Chen Guo called out to An Wenyi as the host. Luo Ji and An Wenyi both arrived today. Let's not go too far and eat something close by, Chen Guo directed. There weren't any particularly excellent restaurants nearby, and Chen Guo didn't want to make them feel uneasy when they had just arrived. Clearly no one cared though and swarmed out the door. They had to do it quickly because they had Su Mucheng hidden within their group. It was actually very dangerous for Su Mucheng to be in Happy Internet Cafe. If the fans recognized her, it would be disastrous. She was the most well-known idol of Excellent Era, second only to Yi Shu. While Sun Xiang and Xiao Shiken were well received, they couldn't compare to Su Mucheng's steady foundation, which had been built up throughout the years. Surrounding Su Mucheng, they left the internet cafe and followed Chen Guo to a restaurant that she had reserved. Chen Guo didn't irk away from picking the dishes. She took care of everything. Once the drinks came out, she started gathering everyone's opinions. Drinking? Haha, someone's about to embarrass himself. Wei Chen shifted his gaze towards Yi Shu. Yi Shu said in deadly earnest, I never drink. I don't either, Chao Yifan hastily added. Steamed Bun, you're definitely a drinker, Wei Chen patted Steamed Bun. Steamed Bun became invigorated at being regarded as important. He rolled up his sleeves as if he were ready to start a fight. Sure, I'll drink. Who else? Wei Chen held up the drink menu as he gazed at the remaining three. Those three just happened to be the ones who just got here. They weren't too familiar with everyone. Luo Ji looked at An Wenyi. An Wenyi looked him. They were waiting for someone else to speak up first. Then, Mo Fan, who no one was looking at, directly replied, I'm not drinking. What about you two? Wei Chen didn't care too much about him. Let's just drink a bit together then, and Wen Yi said. I can't drink too much. 5 glasses max. The mathematician Luo Ji knew precisely how much he could intake. He examined the beer glass size and gave a reply. Weak. Wei Chen looked down in disdain. For that glass size, 5 glasses was just a bit over a bottle of beer. That capacity for liquor was truly too tragic. Even Yi Shu seemed to have relaxed a bit, probably because he found someone around his tolerance level. We still have work to do tonight, so don't drink too much. Everyone, pace yourself, Wei Chen said. He called over the waiter, get me a case. The faces of all those present including Mo Fan and Wen Yi changed color. Everyone was clearly frightened by Wei Chen's liquor capacity. Steamed Bun was already intimidated and shouted, a case. That's amazing, right? How many are in a case? Yeah, very amazing. That's 24 bottles, Yi Shu laughed. 24 bottles. You're too amazing, old Wei, Steamed Bun continued to yell in awe. Wei Chen's face suddenly turned deathly pale, but he pretended like it was no big deal. What? A case has 24 bottles? Haha, what did you think? Yi Shu laughed. Cough, that's nothing. How many are you guys drinking? If you're not sure yet, you're welcome to just take them from my case, Wei Chen said to the 3, who would be drinking. Luo Ji was just about to nod his head, when Yi Shu interrupted, that's no good. What if someone drinks a bit too much and you won't have enough left for yourself? Couldn't I just get more if I don't have enough? Wei Chen said. Another case, Yi Shu asked. Are you not happy about something? Wei Chen asked. Haha, Yi Shu laughed. Ha, your sister. Wei Chen knew that Yi Shu had seen through his facade, so he didn't try and insisting on it. He said resentfully, where I live, one case only has 12 bottles. Why are things so different in City H? Everyone understood that Wei Chen was making a joke and erupted into laughter. Wei Chen was able to keep the same expression on him. He lit up a cigarette and took the opportunity to tell everyone stories about his past. When the case of beer came, no one called out Wei Chen to drink it all himself. The 3 girls, Yi Shu, and Chao Yifan drank a little for symbolic purposes. Mo Fan refused it with an astute no, though. The rest left for the other 4. Despite it being 4 people, Luo Ji's 5 glasses didn't really account for too much. Mathematicians were logical people. 5 glasses of beer wasn't no bottle of beer. It was just a very small amount. As a result, the majority of the beer was decimated by Wei Chen, Steamed Bun, and Wen Yi. These 3 averaged around 6 bottles of beer. It wasn't too much, but the effects of alcohol were beginning to show. Wei Chen and Steamed Bun clearly started talking a lot more. And Wen Yi was still as quiet as ever. It was as if he hadn't drank 6 bottles of beer. Wow, little N. You're still fine. Wei Chen was also surprised. No, anymore and I'll definitely get drunk, and Wen Yi said, but no one believed him. From what everyone saw, Wei Chen and Steamed Bun would be getting drunk first. Not bad. You've got a good future ahead of you, Wei Chen sighed. There's no more. There's no more. Steamed Bun poured out the last of a bottle of beer and rubbed his perfectly round belly. More? Wei Chen tried to show his superiority again. Although he turned his shout for a case of beer into a joke, he really had intended on a small case of 12 beers. Wei Chen wouldn't get so drunk that everyone could laugh at him. 12 beers was obviously within his capabilities. Right now, he had drank around 6 beers, so another case was potentially still possible. Maybe next time? We'll have plenty of opportunities to do so in the future. Luo Ji's already fallen asleep, and Wen Yi said. Wei Chen glanced at Luo Ji, who was lying on the table. He was speechless. This mathematician was truly honest and sincere. When he said 5 glasses, he wasn't saying any more than 5 glasses and he would be drunk, but he would directly get drunk after 5 glasses. Luo Ji lay on the table, completely gone. Okay, next time. We can drink again once these losers are gone, Wei Chen said. Don't corrupt these young minds. Don't you know that it's better not to drink for pro players? Yi Shu said. Wei Chen was surprised. After a short pause and a puff of smoke, he nodded his head. You're right. He looked towards Wen Yi and his expression turned solemn. You guys still have a future. How nice. Don't drink too much in the future. After finishing his glass, he didn't call out to Steamed Bun or Wen Yi. He stood up and said to everyone, let's go back. Wake Luo Ji up, Chen Guo said. Get up, you useless person. Steamed Bun whacked Luo Ji on the head. Steamed bun, don't act so recklessly. His brain is a national treasure. Yishu hastily stopped steamed bun. National treasure. Steamed bun was confused. Mathematician, Yishu said. Oh, steamed bun seemed to understand. Luoji woke up with a daze because of the whack though. He had drunk the least, but was the most drunk. His eyes were still red after the short nap. Can you walk? Yishu asked. I can't, Luoji said. Steamed bun, support him, Yishu said. What a piece of trash. Sigh. Why does my little bro have to be such trash? Steamed bun sighed with sadness. He dragged Luoji up. Can you stand? I don't need your help. I can walk, Luoji struggled. They ate dinner late, so it was quite late by the time they left. All the bosses this week had been killed, so there wasn't anything urgent to do in the game. Luoji and Wenyi had just gotten here, so they might as well head over to their living place together. Their living place was 2 stories with 6 bedrooms for 12 people. Everything had been arranged for 2 people per room. Wei Chen and the others lived here. Yishu and Chen Guo had actually never stayed a night here before. When they went to take a look, the 4 people already living there had each taken a room for themselves. None of them shared a room with another. And Wenyi and Luoji looked as if they would take the remaining 2 rooms for themselves, but Chen Guo stopped them. I don't think it's good to occupy them all. It's not too late to put people together later, but what if a girl were to come? Everyone heard her words. That was reasonable. They actually had a girl on the team already. She just wasn't living with them for now. Then, Luoji go to Steamed Bun's room. Little N and Chao Yifan in a room. I usually smoke, so once Yishu comes over we'll room together. Wei Chen arranged everything. That's a good arrangement. Should we try it out for tonight? Chen Guo turned around to ask the others, who hadn't even stayed a night before. Everything in those 6 rooms had already been tidied up for them. Sounds good, Yishu didn't care. Chapter 769. Inventory. Yishu, Su Mucheng, Chen Guo, and Tang Ru experienced what it was like to live here. The 3 girls took the 2 empty rooms. Yishu went to Wei Chen's room. Just as Wei Chen said, the room was filled with smoke. It wasn't anything Yishu had any problems with though. Everyone's gathered together now, Wei Chen sighed as he handed Yishu a cigarette. Not bad, right? Yishu smiled. If our opponent was an excellent era, it would have been great. Wei Chen couldn't get rid himself of this worry because he was more worried than anyone else about this opportunity. Sometimes he even felt upset at himself. If he knew he could have done this earlier, why did he waste so many years of his life? Why didn't he just try to return to the scene sooner? How about you try your hand at tyranny and see if they'll accept you? You can be together with them in an old people team. Yishu lit his cigarette. Ah, it's fine. I'm old already. I can't struggle like I did before, Wei Chen sighed. You're worried that they don't want you? No, Yishu laughed. TCH, Wei Chen objected, what about you? You didn't need to do this yourself. You've managed to keep your ability to play in good condition for all these years. Returning to the scene at the end of the year wouldn't be difficult at all. If I don't busy myself with this kind of goal, how would I be able to maintain my good condition? Yishu said. You've already gotten this far. Why are you thinking about all this? Stay on this path, Wei Chen said. Aren't you the one that's thinking too much? I can't help myself, Wei Chen sighed. It wasn't something that he could stop himself from doing. Who can't? Yishu held his cigarette in his mouth as he looked out the window. If we fail to get through the Challenger League, what will you do? Wei Chen suddenly asked. I'll see when that time comes, Yishu said. You haven't thought about it yet? Not at all, Yishu said. That's good, Wei Chen let out a sigh. It seems like he had been troubled by this question. What do you have to be worried about? Even if you fail, you've got 18 million yuan. Isn't that good enough? Yishu laughed. Happiness can't be bought, Wei Chen refuted. How about you spend your money to hire a few hitmen and get rid of those guys at Excellent Era? Wouldn't we certainly succeed then? Yishu said. I actually know a few people. Minnesota. Yishu didn't think that Wei Chen was actually serious. I'm just kidding, Wei Chen said. Excellent Era is going to be a very troublesome opponent, Yishu said, but there will always be opportunities in the future. You don't need to preach to me, Wei Chen said. You're such a good for nothing. You clearly understand the logic, yet you still get anxious and depressed from time to time. Did those glasses of beer bring up unnecessary worry? Yi Shu said. What do you think of everyone currently here? Wei Chen didn't want to talk about his feelings with Yi Shu anymore and changed topics. You've seen them too. What are your thoughts? Yi Shu asked. I think Tang Ru and Steamed Bun definitely have a good future ahead of them. You managed to pick up 2 treasures. I'm certain that after they shine in the Challenger League, there will definitely be pro teams who think highly of them, Wei Chen said. As if you need to tell me that, Yi Shu smiled. Wang Jiaxi once invited Little Tang to join his team. Even something like that happened? Wei Chen was astonished. Of course, Yi Shu gave him a summary of the event. She refused. Why? Wei Chen was a bit at a loss. That is her biggest problem. Her love and passion for glory isn't the same as ours. She only started playing because she lost to me in the arena multiple times. She never had the ambition of becoming a pro player, so she didn't think much of Wang Jiaxi's invitation, Yi Shu said. What about now? Wei Chen asked. Now? She's been playing for so long already. It seems like she's at least somewhat interested in playing glory. The pro scene just so happens to have numerous experts to challenge. I think that's most likely her motivation to continue playing, Yi Shu said. Haha, that's a good reason. Her personality is really fitting for a competitor. I think she'll go very far, Wei Chen said. That might not be true, Yi Shu said. Why? She's not that young. Her background is also a bit strange too. Look at how she carries herself. When I first came here, she was doing unskilled labor at Happy Internet Cafe. Would you believe that? Yi Shu said. F***ck, no way, Wei Chen was astonished. I seriously think that she ran away from home, just like me, Yi Shu said. You ran away from home? Wei Chen continued to be astonished. F***ck, a slip of the tongue. I forgot that you didn't know about that, Yi Shu said. Tell me, Wei Chen hastily said. It was many years ago. There's nothing to say, Yi Shu looked down on Wei Chen. Wei Chen wasn't much of a gossiper. Seeing that Yi Shu didn't want to talk about it, he didn't keep pestering. He continued to examine the strengths of Team Happy's current members. In any case, Tang Ru will probably be the most outstanding amongst them. Steamed Bun is quite good too, but he's not very consistent. A few mistakes here and there are always fine, but it would be very troublesome during a crucial moment. Correct. That's Steamed Bun's main problem, Yi Shu said. For this type of player, if it were an important match, I think most teams would place him as their 6th player, Wei Chen said. We don't have that luxury right now though, Yi Shu said. You're right, Wei Chen sighed, the others are quite a ways away from those two. Mo Fan isn't too bad, Yi Shu pointed him out. F***ck, that dead person. If you didn't say anything, I wouldn't even have mentioned him. You saying his name makes me want to go over there and punch him, Wei Chen said. I still don't know what to do about him. I have no idea why he even plays glory. I'm hoping that he'll have a change in mind once he starts playing with us, Yi Shu said. Seeing how he seems to insist on rejecting everything that we do, I don't see much hope, Wei Chen said. He'll reject anything new to him, but he's familiar with glory. This will help him gain a better understanding of glory. Let's see how things go before coming to any conclusions, Yi Shu said. Then there's An Wenyi and Luo Ji. Wei Chen started talking about these 2 fresh arrivals. I saw Luo Ji's situation this afternoon. I'm afraid there's not much hope of him getting on stage in the short term. The future will depend on how much he improves. How is he compared to when you first met him? He's definitely improved a lot, but he can't compare to Tang Ru or Steamed Bun. I haven't guided him that much though. We'll see how things go after a month of intense practice, Yi Shu said. What about An Wenyi? You guys usually bring him along, but I haven't actually seen his skill in-game, Wei Chen said. He still needs practice. His awareness and decision-making is quite remarkable. If it's a 1v1 and he had to heal, his pacing and control is definitely at a pro level, but if you give him multiple targets, such as one healer for a team, he starts to mess up, Yi Shu said. Then, we'll have to see after this month, Wei Chen said. There's nothing to see. That's everyone we can use, Yi Shu said. Little Chow is quite good. I heard that you wanted him to switch to a phantom demon, Wei Chen said. I feel like his strengths would fit a phantom demon more, Yishu said. His foundation is quite stable. Right now, he's at the stage where he's getting used to his class. I think highly of him, but honestly speaking, he isn't any extraordinary talent. I hope he'll work hard to make up for that. Being able to pick up 2 talents is lucky enough, Yishu said. That's true. That is very lucky. They'll have to practice hard. It's entirely on them. Wei Chen puffed out one final cloud of smoke and then extinguished the flame. Let's sleep. Okay, Yishu replied and also laid down. After a moment of silence, Wei Chen suddenly said, our boss isn't considered an official player, right? Of course not, Yishu said. Okay, Wei Chen replied. He didn't say anything after that. They had been pulling all-nighters for the past month, so sleeping at this time wasn't easy. Wei Chen borrowed the effects of alcohol to sleep soundly. Yishu laid on his bed, not sleepy at all. He stared at the pitch-black darkness outside. Who knew how long it would take for him to sleep? Wei Chen slept early and woke up early. When he woke up, he immediately woke up Yishu too. Hurry. Get up. While there's still nothing to do, we should figure out everyone's practice plan. We can't be lazy, Wei Chen shouted. Lazy? I've already given each of them a practice plan to follow, Yishu said. How can throwing them some plans to follow be considered anything? You have to be more rigorous. Time, content, levels. Everyone's doing the same thing. Have the pace of their practice go up, Wei Chen yelled. We need to make active preparations for the Challenger League, not just in equipment. Everyone's individual strength is crucial too. Okay, that's very reasonable. I'll leave that to you then. I'll keep on thinking about what to do with our equipment problem, so stop bothering me. I have an idea and I need some peace and quiet to think about it. Yishu flipped over his body. D*MMIT, get the F*CK up. We need to start regulating practices. Su Mucheng and Chao Yifan, you guys have experience with teams. Gather here. Meeting time, Wei Chen roared. Helpless, Yishu was finally forced to get up. He didn't know when he slept last night. He didn't have any energy. But seeing how spirited Wei Chen was, he was also gratified, so he struggled to match up with him. Right now, we don't have the software to utilize all those practice methods that the current pro teams use. But as pioneers from the early days, we shouldn't be held up by this issue. The earliest teams didn't have these resources either. They relied on things in the game. Weren't they still able to practice? Wei Chen said. As if you need to say that, Yishu remarked. Good. What we need right now is for you guys to tell us the contents of the practice methods that you use in your clubs and we'll find a substitute for it in the game, Wei Chen said. I know. I've been doing that the entire time, Yishu said. Now we have this senior helping. We'll organize everything by the end of today, Wei Chen said. Wait, what training methods do you know of that are used by clubs? Yishu asked. None. So hurry up and tell me everything you know about the theory and methodology behind their practice routines. Wei Chen looked like he was planning a robbery. Chapter 770. Training Program. Wei Chen woke up very early, earlier than anyone else, but as soon as he woke up, he started shouting at Yishu, startling everyone awake. Most of them had a hard time sleeping because they were used to staying up all night. They came out of their rooms half awake and saw Yishu and Wei Chen chattering. What are you guys doing? Everyone was puzzled. The bosses haven't respawned yet, no? Someone looked at the calendar. No, someone confirmed it. Let's go back to sleep? I agree. Everyone climbed back into their beds. Meanwhile, Yishu talked quite a bit about practice methods, which Wei Chen wouldn't know about unless he were part of a club. Wei Chen immediately began racking his brains to figure out how these methods could be simulated in the game. It had to be said that Wei Chen, who had continued playing in the game after retiring, had a much better understanding of in-game matters than a pro player like Yishu did. As for Yishu, it was similar to how he always needed to check dungeon guides. He had done it in the past, but he had practically forgotten everything from back then. His knowledge of the game couldn't compare to Wei Chen in this aspect. After the two discussed for a while, they came up with all sorts of creative ideas. They rushed to Happy Internet Cafe and the two began testing their newly formulated practice methods on the second floor. The vast maps, various dungeons, and tremendous number of quests were all used as replacements for training software. The two tested and recorded the results. After 2 hours of testing, the two obtained plenty of insight. At this moment, the others finally arrived at the internet cafe. What were you two doing so early in the morning? Chen Guo turned around to look. Yi Shu and Wei Chen were sitting next to each other, playing the game. From time to time, they would start discussing something. Their characters were in the same place in the game. They weren't fighting, just jumping around non-stop. Pearwood Mountains. What are you doing there? Chen Guo recognized the location of their two characters. We're utilizing the cliff here to see if we can practice jumping. Yi Shu pointed at the cliff in front of his character. You can jump here? Chen Guo was surprised. Of course, Yi Shu said. He controlled his character to jump onto a small protrusion on the cliff face. Then, he jumped left and right continuously, making his way up the cliff. When the others heard them talking, they crowded around. Chao Yifan came from a pro team, so he had practiced technical skill, such as jumping. The team would have a fixed practice routine every day that each player needed to complete. He understood that Team Happy had limited conditions and resources here, so they were searching for suitable locations in the game to emulate the practice routines used by the clubs. We're preparing a practice routine for our team. Every day, everyone must complete the basic tech skill practice, as well as class-specific practices. There will also be team practice and so on. From now on, everyone will need to complete the scheduled practices every day. We're going to start taking a step towards making things official, Yi Shu said. Good. Chen Guo was excited. She was happy to see the team move in the right direction. Wei Chen and I are currently arranging the practice routines. We hope to finish it by the end of today, Yi Shu said. Keep up the good work, Chen Guo said. The two had experienced the early stages of the competitive scene. One of them had continued to work hard in the pro scene, accumulating plenty of practical experience. The other had returned to the game, carrying knowledge and experience far surpassing that of a normal player, as well as going through the changes in the game throughout the years. The two progressed at a satisfying pace. They recorded the summaries and results of their tests in a shared document. The experienced Su Mucheng was also called over to help them out. She helped to organize their discoveries into a final complete plan. They kept working until 7 p.m. A document called Team Happy's Practice Routines was born. This document only contained the basic tech skill practice content though. It still didn't include any class-specific practice content. The document was passed around for everyone to see. On it were both things that they were already doing in addition to some new things. There was a lot of content, but their style was mostly the same, demanding, repetitive, and dry. The purpose of it was to train a player's precision and speed in his or her tech skill. Next week, which is starting tomorrow, everyone must complete the practice content in this document every day. Right now, we have to spend time fighting for wild bosses, so there isn't a set time frame for you to follow. When we're not fighting for wild bosses, this will be your number one priority. The practice content is very dull and boring, but it will be very helpful for everyone. Never disregard the importance of the basics, even when you become a god in the alliance. Clearing this list of items must still be done every day. Yi Shu said to everyone in a serious tone. Everyone nodded their heads with solemn expressions. Only Mo Fan had no expression. He just stared blankly at the practice content in front of his screen. Mo Fan, you try them out too. It'll help you improve. Yi Shu picked him out in particular. Mo Fan refused to comment. He just lifted his head and glanced at Yi Shu. But on the second day, Mo Fan also followed the practice routine. He started completing them on his deception. Everyone's varying skill levels showed through this basic tech skill practice. Chao Yifan, whose hand speed wasn't any slower than Tang Ru or Steamed Bun, completed these various tasks the best. He could complete each task in one try the majority of the time. He just wasn't too used to it because practicing in the game was more crude. But because the theory was the same, the end results would be the same. It just wasn't as convenient as the specialized software. Just take the rolling practice. Using the club's software, if the roll direction was slightly off, there would immediately be a notification. However, in the game, there obviously wouldn't be any notification. In order to determine whether his roll direction and distance satisfied the task's requirements, he had to judge the direction and distance himself after rolling. This definitely tested everyone's self-control. In a pro team, the software would record any mistakes. Afterwards, everyone would know if they did well or poorly. It could be considered as a method of inspecting each player. But in Happy, it was entirely up to the individual. Yishu alone couldn't watch everyone, so he didn't bother. He didn't think that anyone in this group would be lazy and slack off. He believed that they would either do it to the best of their ability or not do it at all. Chow Yifan completed each task, inspecting his own practice. Steamed Bun kept muttering to himself. It clearly wasn't going smoothly for him. From time to time, he would look defeated. Tang Ru wouldn't mutter to herself like Steamed Bun, but her expression was grave too. Her brows were slightly furrowed, which was something that never happened when she rushed into a sea of people to battle. She was clearly having trouble facing these harsh training tasks. In the beginning, Mo Fan continued to maintain an expressionless face, but his brows gradually started to furrow just like Tang Ru. He clearly wasn't used to doing this type of practice. It was even more painful for An Wenyi. He frequently couldn't meet the requirements for the tasks. He even started to worry if he could even complete these tasks by the end of the day. As for Luo Ji, he was still struggling in the normal server. Yishu and Wei Chen mainly used the resources in the heavenly domain to devise the practice routine, so he couldn't complete them in the 10th server. However, this practice routine had many similarities with the heavenly domain quests. In fact, when the heavenly domain first came out, many were surprised at how the heavenly domain quests were like an all-inclusive test of a player's mechanics. Luo Ji's attempts at the quests could be considered as tech skill practice too. On the first day, using the gaps between the various wild boss battles, everyone apart from An Wenyi completed the tasks. The speed of their completion varied greatly though. Chow Yifan was truly much faster than the other three. As for the other three, it was fortunate that the system wasn't keeping track of their failures. Otherwise, if they used the club's software, their score would probably make them ashamed to death. However, in the next few days, Mo Fan began showing that he wasn't a new player at Glory. After getting used to the practice routine, he improved rapidly and began completing the tasks more and more smoothly. As for Tang Ru and Steamed Bun, they were still paying for their rough precision. They were fast enough, but not precise enough. For example, it was similar to how Lu Hanwen could create 8 shadows using shadow steps, but since those 8 weren't perfect, it couldn't be considered as complete. Tang Ru and Steamed Bun were still lacking in precision. It was because they hadn't played the game long enough. To put it plainly, practice makes perfect. And Wenyi was still doing the worst. He struggled with completing each task every day. Even though he had completed the heavenly domain quests before, you only needed to complete each of those quests once. It didn't matter how many times you tried or if you did it by luck. However, these tasks eliminated the aspect of luck. And Wenyi couldn't finish the practice routine within the necessary time limit. He could only keep repeating and failing the task over and over again. But he wasn't discouraged. How many days had it been? If he could improve that quickly, Glory would be too simple. And Wenyi was the one who spared them the most from worry. He may be the worst out of everyone, but he didn't need anyone to encourage or console him. He even asked Yishu if could skip the wild boss battles in order to spend more time on the practice routine. Fighting for wild bosses was practically a break from this monotonous practice, but An Wenyi was willing to give up on his breaks. These guys certainly have a bright future ahead of them. Wei Chen felt greatly moved.